What's going on, everybody? This is Lawrence D. Adams. I am live right now. Y'all done pulled me out of my slumber and out of my time of just relaxing. And I hope you guys should be able to hear me loud and clear in the here in the live. I really need to do this for Facebook because you guys are just commenting and commenting and commenting. You got opportunity now to come up. Y'all want all this heat. Somebody, I just seen Consuela say, oh, you took an out of proportion. Oh, everybody think it's an attack against the black woman. And, oh, you don't understand. ODA, Lawrence, you just talking. Maybe you still grieving. I don't know. Let's have a healthy conversation about this. Let's have a healthy conversation. I think we need to have a healthy conversation about this. I think that's what needs to happen. Everyone has an opinion on what they think. And I'm going to put the link in the chat room. If you want to come up, please, by all means, if you act any kind of way, I will get rid of you. This is not an arguing match. This is not a you against me. I don't got time for all that. But I'm going to put the link in the right now in the chat room. And if you need to get it, you need to let me know if you want to come up and explain your point. Now, this is the thing. We inadvertently say things, or we say things when we post or when we comment that's triggering, of course. But let's have a conversation about this, about Rihanna and this whole image. Let me go back to the image that's there. Of course, there are two contrary images right there. There's Rihanna, it's a rock, the little baby. As we know, there's a baby inside of Rihanna. And then there's the image right there. And I forgot where it is. I'm not sure if it's in Nigeria. And you see the baby is pointing. It's symbolizing the future. You see the man is there. And you see the woman is there. The man is leading the woman. And apparently everyone has a problem with that. They think that, oh, I know people want to say it's sexist. Someone want to say, and what's the problem? I don't get it. Many times we are too focused on because it's a particular star that we're attacking the star, or even with this, we think that we're attacking black women. Oh, there you go again. You guys are attacking black women. But clearly, like I said in the post, image. He who controls the image in front of the people controls, I said inadvertently, but it's really directly controls the people. Let me say that again. He who controls the image in front of people controls the people. So even though you're saying everyone has an opinion, which I think everyone should, you should not agree with completely what I say or what someone else says. But you cannot refute the image that's right there in front of you. Now, if you want to come up, here's the link. You can come up. And actually, if you're on Facebook, you'd be able to call, and it should be able to trigger you for you to come up here. You got something to say. This is not a you against them, but I want you to understand how important images are, and take Rihanna out of it. That's the problem. Too many of you guys got Rihanna in this. Oh, you coming against Rihanna? You coming against black women, and you coming against women. Women have it hard. We're trying to make it, and you mad because she's leading and he's not. When we have a conversation about it, because there's, of course, these images are completely opposing to each other, and for them to be put together like this, yes, it was for you to get a conversation going. And we got to understand the other, as Justin said in the comments, it's an agenda. It is an agenda. Now, you may not agree with what I've said on my viewpoints, but I want to hear yours. What do you think? Now, everybody got all this clickety clack, all this stuff they want to say inside of the chat room, not in the chat room, but in the you want to say on my comments on my post. Here's your opportunity. I'm giving you opportunity to come up here and say something. I jumped up and made a live that quick. Come up here and say something. Write something in the comments. Everybody got something to say. Come on, y'all got all something. Everybody got something to say, and I see it's a family unit. Come up, you got something to say. Some people don't get it. Right, that's my point. You got something to say? Come on up. Come on, I didn't put the link in the chat room and put it in there. Don't come over here talking crazy. This is not me against you. Don't, oh, he about to attack black women. He about to attack. But we got to look at this image. Image controls the image. We do not think in words. We think in pictures. Let me say that again for those those who don't get it. We don't think in words. We think in pictures. And because we think in pictures, images affects our subconscious, because we think our subconscious is affected by images and what we feel or what those images evoked inside of us. So apparently this image of these two pictures put together evoked some things inside of men, inside of women. So let me bring up this part of the conversation because I think it's vitally important. Vitally important. We need to hear both sides. Let me say that again. We need to hear, good to see you, pretty woman, classy car. Let me say this. We need to hear both sides. So just to hear just the woman's side and not hear the man's side, it's not right. And just hear the man's side and never hear the woman's side, we don't have a dialogue. I wish people would get that. Because it's easy to say what I think. But if I don't understand it from the woman's point of view or understand what she sees, and if she doesn't understand what I see, we will never be a unit. We will never be a unit. We must be more powerful because they have all the resources and stay focused on destroying the strong black male image. Correct. And I wish people would get that. We think the fight, as much as we want to say it in these these states, it's the fight is against black women. Baby, don't you understand? The real fight is to destroy the image of the black man, not just only for others, but in front of her, and for her to see him as weak, incompetent, doesn't know how to lead, and to make him not like who he should be. What's going on, man? That's my dude. What's going on, Denise? This comes from Bales Pure, straight out of ore, pure garbage. Come on. So I put the link in there. Everybody got something to say and might want to comment and say this and you don't understand and you this and that. No, let's have a conversation about it. There is the link. You can come up. What's going on, Joe Blast? Good to see you, man. My day one, everyone, 10 toes down. You got something to say? Come up here. What do you have to say about this image? Tuning in. What's going on? Mr. Man in Action. What's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. I was looking past your number earlier this week. That's real talk. So we need to hear both sides. Everybody got something to say. They commenting crazy on my Facebook page. Oh, did you understand? You think it's an attack against black women, or you think it's an attack against women? That men are afraid of strong black women. Baby, the issue is not even that. we're so individual thinking that we don't see that as an attack on the black family or the family as a whole. That's what we're missing. We don't understand that images. We think in images. They're doing the same thing with the Diesel dude from the latest Creed movie. Correct. What are they doing to him? Emasculating him. Why do you emasculate a masculine man? So he's rendered powerless in front of everyone else. Now, someone made up a good point for us with my friend Angie, and she's an alumni. Well, we don't know what happened in the photo shoot. It was her photo shoot, and he was there. So we don't. So if that's the case, what if we dismiss that as Rihanna, A$AP Rock, and the baby that was there? But it was straight the image that's there. What do we say then? See, what happened is people are too charged because Rihanna just came off the Super Bowl. A$AP Rock, you know, he didn't got the one baby. Now he got this. Now he got another baby on the way. So people are too charged about it. That's why the image is so blinding some people, not realizing what it's saying. And I want people to understand women are seeing one thing and men are seeing another thing. Let me say that. Men are seeing one image and women are seeing a different image. So we can I didn't put the link in there. I'm gonna put it in again. I'll put it in there again. Come up here. You got something to say? We're not about to go back and forth. I'm not about to do all that. You come up here cussing, fussing, and whatever the case may be, you will be exit, you'll be go stage left. But you do have an opportunity to come up here and share what your point is. But if you come up here, share your point, please don't be talking about using ad hominems. Don't be talking about you men, you don't understand. We're not talking all that. That's not part of it. What's going on, bro? The image is disgusting. See, this is the thing. We don't hear, see, it's one thing to hear the woman's side, but many times we don't hear the man's side. This is where discussions take place. So we need to hear both sides. Look, the link is there. You want to come up? Come on up. Come on, I got time today. And I want women to understand this. Because I know I get the backlash. I talked to my cousin yesterday. We had a good conversation. We was at dinner yesterday. Shout out to rest in peace to my Uncle Alan. He probably will be in the chat room if he was here. May he rest in peace. But I want you to really get this. This is not an attack on women or particularly black women. But if you got fleas, you need a tick collar. Are we seeing one thing? Men and women are seeing something else. Correct, Joe Black. That's what people don't understand. We are seeing two different images. And what happens is because we see ourselves in that person, in that image. Whether we want to admit it or not, we automatically personify, oh, they're speaking for me, or this image I identify with because we are the same sex. But you got to understand, men and women are seeing two different images when you look at this picture. And we look at a picture, I think it's in Nigeria, if I'm correct, and I can be corrected if it's not the image that's on the right. We see the little boy pointing. He's representing the future. The man is leading. Actually, she's not even that much behind the man. She's actually sort of beside him in a sort of a protective mode to protect her. But we're in a culture that thinks the complete opposite. And even in the comments, shout out to the brother who put in there, I forget, AT put it about that men don't know how to lead. Why don't men know how to lead? Come on up here. I got time today. Why don't men know how to lead? Everybody got heat. Everybody got the They got the Twitter fingers, the Facebook fingers. Come on up here. I got time today. Why don't men know how to lead? And we were to trace it back. Majority of those men that do not lead many times are led by single mother homes. Single mother homes. Where's the father? Absent father or no interaction with the father. And it's not just bad for the men, but it's bad for the women. Do you know how important it is for a girl to see her father? I don't know why people don't get that. How important it is for the father to be in the little girl's life. So before you come up here talking about that I'm coming against women and you hate them, you a misogynist, we never talk about the misandry that many women have inside of their heart towards men and particularly black men. We never address it. And if you talk about it, the first thing you want to say, well, I'm tired of talking about it. I got something for you today. Was sick of Rihanna when she disrespect and pose with the whiskey and middle finger in front of LeBron or something. Disgusting. See? People get, and this is not an attack against Rihanna. So Rihanna, you watch it, don't be coming over here talking crazy. Rihanna looks like the male lion, while ASAP looks like the female lion in the cub. Image. Interpretation of the image. The interpretation. See, everybody, what everybody, I didn't give the link. You want to come up? I got you. I got you. I put the link right there. There's the link. You want to come? I want to come up. There you go. There's the link right there. I put the link there. You want to come up? There's the link. You can't, don't comment no more. Come up on the live. I make sure I pronounce love. Okay, well, all right, man. I don't, Appreciate it, brother. So I want you to really get that. Let me say this again. Image. Those who control the image before the people controls the people. I don't know why people don't get that. When they put up the image, think about it. So I can bring this home. Peace, what's going on, Yahoo? Good to see you, brother. Vogue is a female magazine in the first place, and it has to be like it is. Let me say this. When Emmett Till mother, let me say this again. Let me say this again. When Emmett Till was killed and beaten for potentially saying something to a white woman, and they beat him and did everything else, she wanted to have an open casket. Why did she want to have an open casket? I want you to appreciate, thank you so much. Appreciate the love right there. I'm on a Saturday. Why does she want to have an open casket? I want my intellectual people. Why did she say she wanted to have an open casket for her son that was beaten? Why did she want to have an open casket? She did not want to have a closed casket for her son. The reason why she did not want to have a closed casket, because she wanted the image of what was going on where she was to hit the world news, because the image would speak louder than what? Someone just reading it in the paper. I want y'all to get that, because it's a female fashion. What do you expect? Right. So she can't distribute the hate the world has. Thank you. So she could demonstrate the hate the world has for her son. Checking in what's going on, Iceberg. She wanted to show our aristocrats. She wanted to. Why? I want you to really get that. It's the image. When they showed the image of Martin Luther King being killed, country went crazy. Because I want y'all to get, it's the image. When Malcolm got killed, what was it? The image. I want you to understand pictures speak louder than words. Let me say that again. Pictures speak louder than words. They convey things whether we admit it or not. So I really want you to get this. As much as I want you to realize it's bigger than Rihanna, it's bigger than ASAP Rock. I want you to get this. Bigger than the baby. I don't even know the baby's name. It's bigger than that. It is the image that is speaking to your subconscious and saying what? Here's the link. You want to come up? All those people tip tapping and on my Facebook. I didn't. Here's the link. What is that image saying? Here, these two images were put together. I actually copied and pasted together from someone else. What are they really conveying? Are they conveying the same things, or are they the start? Are they a contrast to each other? So I want you to really get this. There we go. What's going on? Okay, I see you in the background. Here we go. I'm gonna bring you on. Here we go. What's going on? How are you?
Hi, I'm Nika. I joined recently. I just wanted to say that what I wrote in the comments, Vogue, I don't think we should pay much attention to this cover because this is Vogue magazine. It's a female fashion magazine in the first place. And Rihanna is known as a fashion icon. And we all know that. And she recently had a baby. I don't know who the father is. I don't follow much. Uh, A$AP Rocky, is it him?
Mhm.
Okay, and of course he's in the background with the baby. It's already enough that it's rare that they've put a male figure on the cover of Vogue, because the only male person that was ever on the cover of Vogue was Jared Leto a few months ago, I think last year. I'm not sure. I'm bad with time. With the makeup on like a woman. That was the only time that Vogue has put a male person. So this is already enough. Let's call it, I'm sorry, I'm not a native English speaker, so sorry if I use the wrong words. It's already enough that I've put a tribute to Rihanna having a baby and her husband, boyfriend, who, whatever they are, their relationship is. I think there's nothing much to compare to that statue you are showing. It is just a fashion magazine. Fashion, nothing else. Fashion and famous faces, fashion icons.
Well, I'm glad you said that. That is fashion and famous faces, but the industry understands that images of fashion of famous people, and even in fashion, even especially with fashion, that it will what to people, stir up their emotions, cause them to think, oh, I want to be like them. I want to do. It does something to them. That dress she has on is killer. I love the dress. She looks good in the dress.
Yes, and basic the point is the dress, because it's most like not most likely 100% sure it's some high fashion dress, and the point is the dress and Rihanna presenting it.
Right.
And the fact she had a baby, and that's probably the first official photo shoot in a commercial magazine with a baby. It's just like bringing the sales up. I worked for Playboy magazine for 7 years, and I know how it is with things like that.
It's
It's
the
a product placement.
exactly, exactly. And I'm glad you said that it was a product placement, because the placement of where he is and where she is, it's like
But it's Vogue. Man, if it
right.
was Men's Health, for example, Rihanna would be in the background, I'm sure,
If it will
or
say that
someone.
again,
If it was some male magazine, I don't know which one, Men's Health, for example, with
yeah,
the same topic, the Rocky would be with the baby in the in the front, and Rihanna would be holding him from the behind, probably.
I'm glad you said that. You made a good point. It is a female what magazine, right?
Yeah, female fashion, high fashion magazine. That's Vogue.
Right. And so that's the thing. So this image is what now going to the consumer. Their main consumers through are women saying, "Hey, okay, I like the dress, but look at the position of the where Rihanna is and where he is." And it's not. You're right. It's not geared towards men. It's not
And
geared.
let me tell you one thing. I'm not a feminist completely. I think girl power is, pardon my language, BS,
Mhm.
because it's only the name of the deodorant. of Spice Girls, if you know what I mean, nothing else.
Right.
And woman without a man is almost nothing in today's society, no matter how much feminists are trying to prove the opposite. Uh, women without uh, women without men are like shadow banned in some. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker, so I
Where you
use wrong
from?
terms probably, but I guess you understand me.
Mhm.
No one is afraid of a woman without a man. If you have a man, you're treated better.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Because
whoa, whoa! Stop, 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 stop. We're gonna. I want to get what you just said right there. And first, let's find out where you're from.
Croatia,
Okay.
Europe.
So a woman without a man, she's in Croatia. She's not in the United States. She, a woman without a man is treated what?
Worse than a woman with a man.
I wish people will understand. And this is not this. I wish this is never my heart or my intent to attack women at all. It's not an attack on women. It's just displaying that your protection is when you have a man that's there. I know somebody a couple months ago that was going to look for a car. Who did she take? She took a man with her.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how society is set up. And so even with this, with the image that's there, that's geared towards women, it's not geared this that image right there with Rihanna is geared towards towards women. That message is saying, hey, I want you to really look at what message is it really sending to women with that image. The dress, I said, is killer. I love the dress. But the image that it's saying is, hey, I got the man, he's behind me. Versus the image that we see, I think that's from
Yes,
Nigeria.
but Rihanna is always presenting that girl power, I'm the queen. And as I already said, it's a female fashion magazine, and Jared Leto was the only male person on the cover, I think, ever. Don't take my word for 100%, but as far as I know, Jared Leto only
And
dressed in
only
female clothes.
and he dressed in female, right?
Yeah. It was a few months ago. It was Greek edition. I remember that from Instagram or somewhere.
See. And that's to me, that's a shame because I understand fashion is very abstract and sometimes it can go either way and it's not so much gender. It can be I know it can be gender fluid and all that kind of jazz, but at the same time, what image are we putting in front of our people or putting in front of people? And then two, what are we saying about the family?
How do you think that cover should be? How do people should be posed all together, like equal?
You know what? So that's a good question. So with that image, I think it will be this is my personal opinion. This is nobody. I want nobody to he's being chauvinist. I think it would have looked good if they were all together.
Yeah, but somebody who chose this photo for a cover. There's probably inside are probably many photos of them together.
Right. And that's my point. The image, that's why I'm saying the image that we put in front of people inadvertently, or well, not inadvertently, as you say, is product placement. And when you say product placement, you think about it, Rihanna is a product because she is a brand.
Yeah, she is a brand. That's true. Yeah.
So her
And
place,
this issue of Vogue, sorry for interrupting, this issue of Vogue will have many, many sales. It will probably the most sold.
that's they knew it was strike up a conversation. They knew that it would strike up a conversation, it would cause controversy, and they knew they was going to get money off of it. I wish people would get that. I
Somebody in
want
the comments, Joe Blast, says this is about a black man being put to the back, being led by his woman. I'm a white person, okay, but I think that uh, there's no more hatred against black people as it used to be. I don't know, 100 years ago. I don't think that's the issue with things like that.
right, and like you said, that's
You
coming
know
from
it better than me because you're a person of color, but
right.
I don't think that's the issue.
Well, and that's coming from the perspective that you come from where you're at. But in actuality, when you hear where I'm at, baby, you haven't seen how a black man is treated, not only from others, but also from his own women.
Really?
Yes, yes.
One woman of color told me that I might have felt racism on myself in my country because I'm very heavily tattooed for the area I live in. She said it's similar. One American Afro American woman said it's similar. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah. So even though see this, that's why we have dialogue so we understand. And this is like I said, this is no shot against black women. Maybe some, but it is for us to have a dialogue. And nope, none of them came up. I didn't put the link up there. It's for us to understand. Yes, the the black man has been put in the back burner. If I was to share the treatment that's been done, not by others, but by black women inside of the community or even inside of the family, it's appalling. And many times, black men don't talk about it.
So you think if her husband, boyfriend, whoever was a white person, you think they would be positioned equally?
That's a good question, and that's a
If
very
Jared
good question.
Leto was the father of her child,
Say that again.
if Jared Leto, who was also on Vogue cover, if he was the father of her child, would they be together on
I
the
bet
photo like this?
I think
Like
they
you
would
and
be
I are
together.
on this screen in the same
I
manner?
think they will be together, or either they'll be together, or her image will be his image will be slightly forward, and hers will be slightly behind his or right beside his.
You think so?
Oh,
Interesting.
yes, yes. I now let's do a survey in the and do you think if it was not ASAP Rack, I'm put this in the chat room. I want you to pick a one if you think the image, if it was a white man, would they be in the same position? Put a number one in the chat room. Let's get a survey on that. Put a number one in the chat room if you think it was not ASAP Rock, but a white man. Would that image be the same put on Vogue? Put a number one if you agree. Put a number two that you don't agree. Let's get this. Let's get it going. I want to see what people will say because you know what? I don't know it all. I mean, I don't know it all. But
I
I
still
understand.
say what I said at the beginning. It's a female magazine in the first place. So
Yeah, and it is a female magazine, and I think that's the part. I think that's the part too. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. I think that's the part that's very interesting because they're the people who they're consumers or they're consumers of their magazines are women. And what image are we putting in front of women? Is this
that
is
it's a girl power. Woman comes first.
let me put some claps for that. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's exactly what it would be. And this is the thing. And I don't want women to understand this. I'm not trying to take your power. I don't need your power. I got my own.
Our female power has been taken away before Jesus Christ was born, I think.
Uh-oh. Name a man of non-color who was in the magazine in a subservient manner to his wife. Uh-oh.
Oh, of non-color. Let's remember Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. They were together, I think, in the same manner. I don't clearly remember the photos. I think it was Vanity Fair or something like that, or People magazine. They were together.
Women are going to drive us to hell and point the finger. So that's what I want. That's what I wanted. But the thing I want to get is the importance of the family unit. So you're over in creation, right?
Yeah, that's next to Italy for those who don't know, and people usually don't know.
So how I'm gonna ask you a question because you came up. I gotta ask you, how important is family? How important was family taught to you when you were a kid?
Well, my dad died when I was born. I was raised by a single mother who did I never felt the lack of man in the family,
Hmm.
but family is on my first place.
Why?
I don't know. After establishing a career and everything else, my goal number one, zoom in, zoom out, my goal number one is to find, let's call it quote unquote, true love and probably start a family or something, something along
Your
those lines.
so your
I
so
cannot
your
zoom.
yeah. So your goal was to start to do your career, then the family,
I have my career.
right? But I'm saying your
And
goal first was to do the career, then the family, right?
yes, 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 yes. I
Right.
mean, I never wanted to have children very young or something.
Mhm. And see, that's the same thing that's happened here in the United States. A lot of women are choosing their career, but they don't have the proper skills to on how to interact with a man. Anybody, let me say this very clearly. Anyone can lay down with someone, but living day to day with someone is completely different.
I know. That's why I'm 37 and not living with anybody.
Yeah, it's completely different. Anybody can have sex.
Meaning
Anybody,
male.
huh?
My meaning my man. I'm not living with him.
Right. Anyone can have sex with anyone. Okay, great. You have sex. It's wonderful.
As I call it, teenage dating is simple. You can date
Yeah,
anybody. It can last for years, but that moment when you start living with somebody after like a month, you're in most cases you're sick of the person, their habits, and everything like that.
because we've never been taught on how to have effective. Who's given us the blueprint or even ways to deal with each other or the skill set to deal with how to deal with a woman, how to deal with a man within a unit as a family. So if you destroy that, you actually isolate the woman and you isolate the man, and now they're now weaker apart and not stronger together. At the end of the day, I need a woman. At the end of the day, you need a man.
Yeah,
And
and I
what
want
we
that in my life.
say that again,
I want that in my life. I would want that the most.
right? Because at the end of the day, for you may not know, you probably just start watching, but I just lost my uncle. Died alone. Who was there for him? Where was his woman? This is no shot against my uncle. I want people to thank you, Yahoo, right there. Family, community, nation, right. He
Yeah.
died alone. We found him alone. What if someone was there with him? Most people don't get that because we're too infighting. You right, you wrong, and I don't do this and I don't do that, and we don't understand how to work together. And I'm not saying that was his case. So anybody, the family that's listening, I'm not saying that. But we need each other. And I wish people will understand that how important it is to have someone that's in your corner. We are not going to always agree. We're not going to always see eye to eye. We may not even, for a couple of days, I may not like you, but I know you got my back.
Yeah.
And I think what has happened is what we have done is to many women, and I'm saying this, and y'all can get mad or whatever. I think a woman should pursue her dreams and careers and things like that. But I also think we have a lot of women has been taught, especially in the Western world, have been taught to put that on such a high pedestal that they forget that they want a family. They want to connect.
I'm 37 and I started wanting a family just recently, like a year ago, I'd say.
Mm,
Before that, it was like too early for me. I felt too young. I felt like I'm 17. I lived for rock and roll. I'm a
mm.
journalist and I was touring with the rock bands. I loved my life and family was the last thing. Family meaning my own family as husband and child. It was the last thing on my mind.
So what inside of you turned to say, hey, you know what? I need something on my own. What when did you wake up and say, you know what? You looked around, you didn't travel with the rock band, you
When I met,
oh don't freeze now. She froze up. No, don't freeze. She froze up. Well, I wanted to ask her questions. I wanted to give some insight. I want everybody to get the insight on that. What happened to you? Come back up because you froze up. I'm gonna drop you off. Come back up. Let's see. Add the stream. Let's see what happens. So, dun 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 dun. You know.
Sorry, my something with internet connection. Um, I met somebody a year ago, and I got engaged to that person, and that was the only person who I could imagine myself spending life with for real. But he dumped me.
Mm-hmm. He dumped you, huh?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to hear that he dumped you.
Well,
It had to be.
I kind of got over it. It was a few months ago, but
Yeah.
and then I realized that that is what I want because I felt secure emotionally. I'm not a monetary oriented person, never was. I felt secure and happy emotionally, and I realized it's the best feeling in the world, which I never experienced before. I always had boyfriends, but there was always something off about those relationships, and I didn't like it much. If some god or president of universe or whoever exists in the world, in the higher power, if any of those came and told me you're gonna spend the rest of your life with this or that ex-boyfriend, I would die of heart attack caused by negative shock, if you know what I mean. But when I met this guy, I was like, yes.
Yeah. I think that's where the conversation really needs to be with ASAP Rock and Rihanna. Let me see right
Yeah.
here. Rihanna pursued her career, but she's now showing that you showing what's important in life now. She's setting herself up to take care so that she can take care and support her family. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. And a lot of times a lot of women catch the reality of that, how important it is to have family. And I gotta say it, they catch it too late. And so the men that the women want don't want them now because they didn't did everything they did, and now it changed. The whole dynamic has completely changed. And so now we that's why it's so important to have conversations like that. Trust me, I am not hating on Rihanna. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of Rihanna. I'm not into that kind of music, but I think they might be a good couple. I don't know. Of course, I don't know those people personally. They're in the same business, which is kind of good thing to have the partner who can understand your business, share interests with, make music together. Blah blah. I think it might be a good match.
I think so too,
Hope
and
so.
I think that's what's important. That she. So let's take some takeaways because that's a good point. I think it's important to get someone who understands, because you just said it, understand the industry that you're in. If
Yeah,
you do not, they'll never understand because you do journalism, right?
yeah,
They'll never understand that you got something to do by Friday at 4 o'clock, but it's Tuesday and you haven't found one thing about it.
yeah.
But they want to say, well, let's go out to dinner. I want to wine and dine you, like not right now. And the same vice versa. A woman would never understand what the man had to do if he has to do a presentation on that Friday morning, but then he has to have somebody research it for him. This understanding each other. I think what we miss in so much in this world is the importance of the family unit. I cannot emphasize that. Now, my point of putting the two images up, as we can see, with the woman put the image back up. Let me go back to the screensaver right quick.
Mhm.
So the screensaver, you can see we see the one that's from Nigeria. We see that the child is on the son's on the father's arms or on the shoulders, and the woman is she's behind him, but she's actually sort of beside him, and he's protecting her. And then we can look at that image, and contrary to what we see there, we see that it's a stark difference. And that's why I want to make sure everybody understand the importance of family, one, but the importance of how images affect the psyche of others. And I understand that, like you said, it's a Vogue magazine, and I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't think about that when everybody was going crazy on the comments with me on Facebook. That is a woman's magazine.
Yeah. It's about the dress and the face who sells that dress.
Please say it one more time so they can get that, because I don't think people.
It's about the dress, the designer of the dress, the person who paid probably to be promoted in the magazine by Rihanna's face, and her face sells the dress. Do you know how many sales that dress will have next week? Many, many, many.
Mhm. Yep, and
And
that's what
without Rihanna's face, maybe it would be 1, 2, 5, 7, 6, or 0.
we need to introduce the new word to these ladies. That word, interdependent. Ha. I like that, Yahoo. Somebody saying she's broke down. What's going on, man? She broken down the walls. I don't know if she's breaking down walls. I don't. I think she's getting paid. She's a billionaire already. I just don't think that she's breaking down walls. But I wanted to talk about this because so many people were writing paragraphs on my Facebook page about this, and I wanted to bring a discussion about this. Not Rihanna, your guest. Oh, your guest. Oh, you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. He says she's breaking down the walls. Thank you so much. You're talking about my guest right here. Yep, she is. Yep. You said not Rihanna. Yeah, because you
I'm
said
breaking
you.
the walls. How do you mean? You mean
So you're
like glass ceiling or something like that?
so you're
I'm not
breaking,
sure I understand what
so
you
you're
mean by
breaking
that.
the walls, meaning that you're breaking down the what's taking place in the industry, but you're also bringing again the understanding on what took place and why she wore the dress and what was the meaning, the sales behind it and things like that.
Okay, okay.
The bronze image shows that the way forward. The bronze image shows that the way forward is shown by the pointing child. The support of the child is built on the foundation of the mother, on the mother's foundation of a mother and the father's, and on the father's shoulder. Correct.
Okay,
I think
correct. Wisely said.
hmm?
Wisely said, I say. Angela says, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what we need. That's the image that needs to be said. And let me say this. I think why a lot of men are up in arms about it is because, and you men let me know in the chat room because I can be completely wrong. I think why a lot of men are up in arms about the image of Rihanna and ASAP Rock is because so many times here in the United States, they will push the black woman in particularly forward and leave the black man behind to fend for himself. And so when they see this happen again in the generations before, and now in this generation right here, it stirs some of them say, you know what? I don't like this. Now, if this is correct, men, let me know in the chat room because I can be completely wrong. I think why black men in particular are triggered by this is because they're not so mad that Rihanna per se is doing her thing, but when are we going to see the image of a strong black man in front of us?
I will say for one last time, it's not even about Rihanna. Rihanna is just a source to
Mm-hmm.
sell the dress made by some fancy designer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
If
is.
it was me, it wouldn't be so interesting.
Right. And that's a completely right. And that's why I want to make sure I put a finger on that right there. That the triggering point for black men is the image of the man not being in a position of leadership. Even though even
But
though
still, this is Vogue, female
I
magazine.
I know, but I'm just saying why men are triggered by it. And that's the right there. This right there, because I think a lot of women once we understand both sides of it, we have a clearer picture. So I want the men to comment. If that's true, let me put a 1. If that's not true, put a 2. Go ahead.
There will be other covers of some other magazines, and we'll see who's gonna be where. And Rihanna is much more famous than that Rocky guy, as far
Yeah,
as I know.
yeah. She just did the Super
At
Bowl.
least I think so.
Oh yeah. So she just was in front of a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, people want to see Rihanna and they want to wear what she wears. And
Correct.
yeah, she's now happy mother. She has her husband, her little daughter or son, whatever it is. The child is. I don't know. I didn't follow. Uh, what that spoke.
Rihanna's phone is showing you that she is anchored by her man and her son. She's anchored by her family. He is a strong man. He's with his family and he's loving his family. Good, different perspective. I have no problem with different perspective. Got no problem with it.
And it's a quite good perspective, if you ask me.
Mhm.
I'd say so.
Yes, it's the image of us not no matter what the magazine or Rihanna. Okay, thank you, Joe Blassie. And I think that's where the contention comes between the male and the female is how we see things differently. It's by nature we see things differently. We're not
I'm
supposed to.
talking not as a male or female. I'm talking as somebody who's into journalism for how many years? 17, and I know how magazines work.
Now, so since you've been in, you did that for 17 years, and I'm gonna ask. I know you answered it earlier, but I want those who just coming in watching. I want you to say this again. Do you think that many times they put the product, whether that's the person or whatever product placement,
Yeah.
strategically there so that it can cause a public stir?
Yeah, because drama, fights on the internet means more views, more views, more views, more views, more shares, more people attaching, bigger engagements. Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
If that's what you asked.
Yeah. Yes. And this
Yes,
is
I used to work for some media, and some editors even asked me, "Do you have some fake profile on Facebook? Can you write some bad comments about yourself so people can start a fight?" People,
see.
yeah, they do that.
Yeah, see, that's how I want people to get that. So see, now this is a man's point of view. Now we see a woman's point of view here, what she said. Rihanna's phone is showing that she is the anchor. She's anchored by her man and her son, and she's anchored by her family. And he's a strong man, and he's with his family and loving and a loving family. Now I want you to look at what a man is saying, his point of view. This is what I want to get at. It looks as though Rihanna
Rihanna
is
is
leading.
leading him, but she must look like that. She's a bad girl, Riri. That's a part of the image. She must be like that. I
This
mean,
is
quote unquote, must.
and this is the contention that this is the contention that men particularly have with the image, and that's the reason why I brought this whole thing together. So let me look with Sharice. What's going on, Sharice? When I first saw the cover, I didn't pay attention to her dress she was wearing. I was struck by the image of her leading her family. They could have all been photographed next to each other.
Yes, if it was People magazine, but it was Vogue, female fashion, high class fashion magazine. It
So
couldn't be different for Vogue.
female first, right?
Yeah.
I want people to get this. The cover is contrary to the word of God. So I'm not with it. But it's Vogue, so it's expected. Bing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. It's not about God here. It's about female magazines selling the dress.
Said Vogue is the devil. I mean Yahoo, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. 1 Corinthians 11:13. Correct. So yeah, and that's this right here, and you said it at the top of the when you first came on. Let me repeat what Yahoo said. The cover is contrary to the word of God. So I'm not with it, but it's Vogue magazine, so it is to be expected.
Yeah. It would be very weird and strange if it would be different.
Yes.
Only Jared Leto was a male who was on Vogue cover with makeup and in some full fur, but they think purple coat.
Right. In the photograph, where's the hand? Where's the hand? The hand lead the eyes. It's the focal point. The focal point is her family. Let's look at the image again because I could be wrong. Let's look at it. The magic of the internet. Okay. There is the connection. But
I mean, it's a very nice picture. It looks good and Vogue.
and I'm glad. I'm glad you said. I'm glad. I'm glad you brought that point up because I didn't think about it when everybody was commenting on my Facebook. It is a female magazine. What do you expect? If it was like you said, if it was men's health, we'll see a different image.
Yeah.
But my concern is, even though it's a female magazine and the image is geared towards women, and they want to keep their viewers, they want to keep their readership up, and they want to sell
Yeah,
this.
it's girl power, woman's power.
Right.
That's what that magazine presents. Women's power.
Do you see that right there? Yep, you're right. So even for a man to be first on the cover, he got to dress like a woman.
But it's a female fashion magazine. It's not a magazine about health. It's not about politics. It's not about life in general. It's a high class fashion magazine. If you flip through pages of Vogue, you will see 80% are fashion editorials, nothing else.
And even and now that foundation is laid, because it's a fashion magazine, I still go back to the point. The images, we don't think in words, we think in images that affects our subconscious. And this image subconsciously to men and women says two different things. And so I think that is the point of
my personal opinion. I'm sorry for interrupting it. My personal opinion is that people are too obsessed what is presented on which cover. Like there was Nivea commercial which offended my nation because we lost a football game and they made a commercial with a cheerleader of our football team crying and they said this cream wipes everything but the tears and people got offended. I mean, it was a nice commercial.
This cream wait.
Wipes everything but the tears.
Was the cream white?
Wipes, like it's a makeup removal cream.
Leave that one alone. And people got offended by that, right?
Yeah. People get offended by everything. People get offended by everything. It's so easy to offend people.
Right. It's not like for me back in the 70s and the 80s. But yeah, I'm glad you came up. I appreciate your point of view. And once again, I want everybody to see. Did I cuss you out? Did I treat you bad?
No. Why would you? No. Did I treat you bad?
No. The reason why I'm saying that because we have people on these YouTube streets and on these Instagram and Facebook streets who look for people to go back and forth. I
didn't come here to fight.
Very good point. We interpret images based on our personal lived experience. Bingo.
Angela should come. She would replace me on this screen.
I wish she would. I know who she is. Angela, you're more than welcome. I didn't put the link in there. You don't have to cam up. You can talk. I know who you are, and I heard you talk before. But thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. Thank you for your perspective on this.
Thank you for having me. Very interesting topic. So see ya. I'll keep on watching.
Okay. So I'm glad. See, excellent conversation. Brought up a good point, which I didn't even think about. It was Vogue. What do you expect from Vogue? Do we think that Vogue is going to have the moral compass or character compass to even present an image? No. They're going by controversy, what's popular, or whatever. What's going on, Carrie? What's going on? The link is there if you want to come on, and because I'm seeing everyone went ham crazy on my Facebook page, and they writing paragraphs and cliff notes, and doing everything, you're more than welcome. But I'm glad you said that, Angela. We interpretate images based on our personal lived experience. There we go. There it is. There she is. What's going on? I know who you are. I need some claps for you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know it's been a while, and I don't want to be on camera.
Ah,
It's not my thing. Yeah, this is a very interesting topic.
Why isn't an inner? Now you brought up a good point. I'm going to put what you said. It says we interpret images based on personal lived experience. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
Why? Yeah. If you see the world as, yes, the man is supposed to lead, anytime you see the image that has the woman in front, well, then that will trigger, because, like I read in the comments, it's contrary to the word of God. But as your other guest said, it is a magazine cover. And I think Rihanna has a slight rebellious streak. She may know that she's a product, and that's why she's out front and she's modeling the dress. But what she is telling you, because if you go back in art history, where the hand is leading you, where the hand takes the eye, that is actually the focal point of the picture, because it diverts the eye from what's in front of you. You follow the hand. So she's showing you with her hand, because I'm trying to remember, I have to take my glasses off, but he's holding her hand. And so when I saw the very first thing, I said to myself, Lord, the internet's gonna come alive with this one. But when you really look at the picture, she's telling you, this is my family. This is what I'm about. I remember back in the day when she was giving interviews, she chose the age she wanted to have her family at. She chose her age because she knew what she wanted out of life, right? So that's what she chose. Now, I can't speak for her, but I do have an understanding, right? Just looking at the image. That's why I compared the two, because you have them side by side. The
Right.
future, the way forward is with the children, but those children don't get that way forward without the elevation of the man. He's usually bigger. He has to show that child the way. So you could call it discipline if you want to, but he's supported by the mother, who's the first teacher. So you need both of those things. And that's what that image means to me when I look at it, because my perspective is such that you need a unit together to make it work. And that's what Rihanna is showing you. She has the unit, even though she came from a broken home. So she's telling you, even though I came from my father being a drug addict and whatever, not, and being abusive, even though she came from that, she's showing you, you don't have to recreate it in your own life. You can have your family as well. That's my interpretation, though, because that's how I see the world.
Now, and that's a great interpretation of where you how you presented it. Now, on the contrary, do you see the way that men?
I do see the way, and I understand why a man would feel that way. But I'm going to say this, don't come for me. Insecurities cause us to see the world in a particular way. It really, truly does. As a secure man, you know you're the rock of your family. You know you are. But look at it. Rihanna is a billionaire. Where's A$AP Rocky financially? She was dating a Saudi billionaire. Was he Saudi or was he Toyota? Anyway, he was a billionaire, and she chose not to have children with him, even though he was on her quote unquote level. You see it? So it wasn't that she was looking for affluence or anything. You have to look at who she chose. She chose a man who she believed would be there to be a rock for her family, an anchor for her family. Because if you look at all the people she's dated, because it's been in the public eye, but she's choosing this one. Clearly, he must have something of value that he brought to her that she did not find anywhere else. Right? So again, that is my interpretation. So I say it is the insecurity sometimes. Insecurities are not bad things. Insecurities are a way of telling you, hey, this is holding you back. Fix it. That's what an insecurity is. We all have them, but we cannot let them rule our lives. And so if you go through life with that insecurity and you don't fix it because you think the man should be the head, why would we say he's not the head? What, when he clearly is the anchor in this image? Because what's wrong with the Black family today? No man in the house. But what do you see before you? A man in the house. And not only is he in the house, he's got his baby in his hands and he is loving his child. And what do we complain about most in the Black community? Single mothers. So look at that image and see what he's doing and what she's doing for the Black family. She's bringing it together, really and truly. But that's, I don't know. I don't know if I've lost you or not, because I don't hear you. Oh, no, I can't hear you. Are you there, Lawrence?
Hear me now? Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me.
Did you hear me?
Yep, I heard you loud and clear. It was what happened. My mic went out. So this is so what you said, but did you understand that it wasn't okay? So I understand the point you're saying about the insecurity, but I don't think it was a point of insecurity that men are seeing this from. I think they're seeing it from a point of, hey, another image of men not being in the place that they need to be and want to be in their woman's life. So it wasn't, I don't think I understand the point of the insecurity part, but I also see a lot of men do not get the recognition for being in that position in a woman's life. You know what I mean?
Yes, but that also depends upon the woman. What quality of woman? What caliber of woman? Now, like I said, I can't speak for her, but based on some of the things, listen, we grew up on the same island. I'm gonna put that in there because being a Barbadian, I understand we were raised completely different. So, you know, I grew up, I wasn't raised by my mother and my father, but I was raised by my father's parents because my mother was really young. But at that very young age, I understood the importance of having a solid foundation. And my grandfather was the rock of the family. He really was. My grandmother, of course. But, you know, he really was the stability because my granny never worked, but he did. And he supported the family. He was the foundation. And he taught me what it is to be a woman. Yeah, he always said you have to be able to think for yourself. And Riri shows that she thinks for herself, right? In most cases, because I'm not in the industry, so I can't say. Nobody tells me what to wear, right? So when I say insecurity, as I said, it's not an admonition. It's not something to make you feel bad. An insecurity shows you where you have a weak spot. Because the insecurities that are not dealt with will drag you down so that every time you look out into the world and you see, oh, and I know a lot of people speak not very well sometimes about Black women, but you have to choose the type of Black woman. You know, I can defend myself. I don't argue because I don't have the energy for that. But when I speak it, I speak my mind. That doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you as a human being, whether you're male or female. It doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to hear you out. But I also can't compromise what that moral compass is. Like right now, the fact that she's not married to him, it's kind of like a bee in my bonnet, but she has billions and that comes with its own thing. So you know what? At least she still kept the family together. So I can't judge.
Right. So I got my dude Kerry. What's going on, brother?
Look, I'm not saying that the young lady, and I don't know your age. So when I say young lady, don't take it as a diss to you because I don't know your age. I'll just say lady. I'm not saying she's all the way wrong. And there's another young lady, Positively Angela, who says we interpret images based on our personal lived experiences. I'm not doubting that either. But I mean, we got to keep it funky. Now, she mentioned insecurities. One of the things that I've always said is that a lot of modern males are insecure when it comes to women. So I'm not doubting that, right? Now, here's the thing. Let's just look at the image. Okay, let's just break this down, right? When you look at her face. Okay, she doesn't have a softened expression. She has a expression, like I've run this expression. He has the more nurturing, feminine aspect of what a mother would be. Now, we all have feminine and masculine energy in us, both men and women. Okay, all of us have it. Because there's no way you can have a mother and father and not have both feminine and masculine energy. Typically, men, we exhibit more of the masculine. Women typically exhibit more of the feminine, typically. You know what I'm saying? There are exceptions. But this photo, it's like someone said, whenever you take photo shoots, there's dozens, if not hundreds of photos taken. They chose this one. There is an agenda. Now, I am not one of those fear-mongering women haters that say, oh, feminism is this, feminism is that. I don't care about feminism. I don't have no problem with equality in the workplace, women making just as much money as men, women being CEOs, women being, officers in the military and lead. I don't care about none of that, right? But this right here, I got a problem with this photo. Look at her face. Look at her stance. Look at her body language. He is more meek and docile, right? She is more, I'm in control. I'm running. I'm a boss. You know what I'm saying? Of this, right? And the reason, and the lady on the panel, she mentioned it earlier. She is worth billions. If he was worth billions, if she wasn't, this photo wouldn't exist. It wouldn't. The fact that she is more of a bigger name than him, more well-known than him, and has more money than him is why this photo is what it is. The problem that I have with that, if you call yourself a Christian woman, and I'm not, the young lady on the panel, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking in general. It's God first, man second, woman after that, kids and domestic pets. So if it's man after God, this photo's out of place. Because if you ever saw a photo of Jesus Christ and a human being, you would never see Jesus in the background. You see him at the forefront. So what I'm saying is there's an agenda. There's always been an agenda to minimize the masculinity of Black men. And there's nothing wrong with women empowerment. Okay, I'm all for it. But you cannot empower women and also devalue the presence of the masculine man at the same time. And that's what I'm seeing. Y'all got it.
So what do you, so Angela, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
So that last part, what do you think about empowering, because you come from the same island that she comes from, empowering Black women, but depowering, but what did you say? Taking the power.
It's like you're empowering the Black woman, but you're devaluing the presence of the masculine man at the same time. Right. That's what I get. Okay, and I'm not saying that I'm 100% right and the sister's 100% wrong. I'm not saying that she's wrong with her interpretation. She makes some points. I think there's too many guys that are insecure and they are intimidated by women. I believe that. I'm not one of them, but I believe that guys are, especially women who are as successful as she is. I do believe guys are intimidated by that, but you got it.
Well, you see, the Queen and Prince Philip have this exact same problem because she's the Queen. And the children, he fought very hard for them to even have his last name because he thought, well, you're emasculating me. But I drew that similarity there because at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. To empower the woman is not to take away from, you cannot empower the woman by taking away from the man. You can't. That's just not. And so that's why I don't agree with that part, that one phrase that you empower the woman by taking from the Black man. And I don't think that's the case. I think he is in a very powerful position, if you ask me. That's why I say my perspective. He's in a very powerful position because he has guidance over his child. That's the power right there. She may teach as a mother because we're the first teachers, but as a father, he guides. And because he's there, that is his power. This child now has the way forward on Rocky's shoulders because he's there. That's his power. She's not taking it from him. He's taking his power and she's giving it. And if you notice too, if we look at Mother Nature a little bit, because a lot of people like to compare to lions, who takes care of the youngins when the female is out hunting? The male. So where's the cub safest? In the arms of his father. That's where he's safest. So it's not that this is
Well,
away from God. He is the protector of his family. That's exactly what he's
okay.
doing. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I like your
Okay,
point.
all right.
I like your
Okay,
point.
so let's say this. Okay, so now when you're talking about the lioness, okay, actually the lioness is the one that teaches the young how to hunt. The father doesn't teach them, which is weird, which is called the king of the jungle. But if you watch, National Geographic and stuff like that, you can see the youngins are learning from the mothers. But anyway, now I want to be careful because I'm not talking about Rihanna personally and A$AP Rocky personally, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what really goes on. The LDA disappear? Is this you and I? Okay, all right.
I'm still here.
Okay. No, yeah, you're still here, but I think he disappeared. But the point I'm trying to make, okay, and I'm not saying that just because a woman or black women or any woman is empowered, that automatically devalues a man. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the media, in a lot of aspects, they will do that. Like, okay, so let's look at this picture. You can interpret it any way you want to interpret it, but I look at it as, how come they're not standing neck to neck, shoulder to shoulder, right next to each other, and they're holding the baby together? You know what I'm saying? How come that's not the case? How come she's in the front? Like, I'm looking at her. Look at her face. That's a masculine face, and I'm not saying a man can't be nurturing. He's kissing his baby. I'm a father. I love my babies too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with him kissing his babies. What I'm saying is you have to look at what's really, really going on. Have Jay-Z and Beyonce ever taken a picture like this? Have they? Now, I'm not saying they have or haven't. I'm just asking that question. And again, we have to be honest about her billionaire status. The fact that she is a African-American woman, I know she's Caribbean, but to people who are non-black, she's black, right? She's a billionaire. That's a big deal that a woman is a billionaire. And I support it. I love it. I ain't got no problem with women getting their money and women, having the stature that she has. But if she was not a billionaire, would this picture exist? That's all the question I'm asking. Would it exist?
Well, not necessarily. It wouldn't exist because we wouldn't know who she is. It's just that she has that. She's literally running the world. Oprah is the #1 billionaire for black females, and Rihanna is #2.
Mm-hmm.
But let me touch on something you said because it is very relevant. You said the media, right? Now, here's where the media, and this is why you have to be strong in your mind and with your own perspective. So the media put this picture out there to do one thing, and this is to polarize its audience. You've got the men who are triggered, right? And saying, "Wow, she's leading." That's the problem right there. That further divides male from female.
I agree. It's divisive. I agree.
Right.
That's part of the reason. I agree with that.
If you see that, right? Now, here's where you can depower the media. If you do not allow yourself to be polarized by what they want you to be polarized by, you have the upper hand. You have control. That's why when I saw this picture, I knew the world was going to be in an uproar, especially the male. I knew they were because of she's out front. So clearly she's leading him, right? But if we do not allow ourselves to be polarized by the media, when you get polarized by something, it has control of you. That's the end of this. That's what it is.
Okay. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I think that the media presents, especially in the black community, they present certain things because they already know. All you got to do is look at YouTube, and there's no shortage of a bunch of goofy black males complaining about black women all day. Okay, there's no shortage of that. So everyone already knows there's decisiveness in our community. Everyone already knows that. So all they got to do is put an image out there and it will trigger people. So I don't deny that. This is the thing I will say though, right? There are way too many young black males who have low self-esteem. They have no sense of self-worth, self-confidence, no sense of self-love, no sense of self-respect. And they take their marching orders by what society says. They are socially conditioned. They are indoctrinated to believe certain things about themselves, and they're also indoctrinated to believe certain things about women. So they will say, "Oh, I can't get this type of woman because I don't have this." or in order for me to have a healthy relationship with a woman that I find attractive, I got to have this. I got to get my money up. I got to make all this amount of money. I have to have this status. And there's nothing wrong with men wanting to achieve things. But my issue is I don't want men believing they have to achieve a certain status to get a certain type of woman, because if you have to achieve that to get that woman, she ain't for you. So I'm all about making sure the young man don't walk around with low self-esteem, pedestalizing women that shouldn't be pedestalized.
I understand that. And so then we are teaching our children. It is always, like I say, it is the content of your thoughts, what those are like, that will determine what you live out. So if you teach your children, and you made a very good point, but then the question I have to ask is, why are they controlled by the media? Why are our children controlled by the media? Somebody's dropping the ball. If our children are being controlled by the media, that's why the children are so important, because they are the way forward. And so we have to combat that by teaching our children what true humanity is. It is a matter of how you see yourself is how you're going to treat other people. That's the greatest commandment there is. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you're not taught how to love, I had somebody ask me that. How do I love myself? I'm like, wait, what? You have to love yourself first by knowing who you are. And to know who you are, you need to spend time with yourself in your thoughts.
I agree.
You have to follow what you like doing, because there's certain things that you enjoy that pave the way for you. And those ways that pave the way for you don't hurt you and they don't hurt other people. That's how you can decipher between that and something else. So when you start to develop that of self-reflection and looking and saying, now how would that person behave if I treated them this way? And you match that. You correct yourself. You don't always have to have a disciplinarian. You have to have the ability to look at it. And the reason I say that is because that is what I learned from my grandfather. And he was very young when he learned it. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Let me
one second. Guys, hear me? What happened is, I don't know, my camera is jumping up, and I actually have another guest. I just want to make sure everybody, this has been a very respectable and congenial conversation, which is what I wanted, because we need to hear both sides. And even if both sides don't agree, so I got another guest is coming in also too. So I'm seeing you, brother. So I want to make sure you come in.
Okay.
Here you go.
That's what's up.
Yeah, how's it going? Can you hear me well?
Yep, hear you very well. Go ahead.
What's the brother's name?
Let me move my banner 1 second.
Let me just address something. At 422, Len Black said he's an idiot. Who are you talking about? Okay, that's one. Two, if you think somebody's an idiot because you disagree with their point, can you explain yourself like a grown adult and explain why you think someone's an idiot and what you disagree with, so we can address it?
Yeah, don't
do when you say he's an idiot. Yeah, exactly.
Articulate yourself. You got to articulate. Like, there's several things I disagree with him on, but I'll like articulate it. I'm not gonna be calling him any kind of names. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. So my thing is this. I hear what you guys are saying, especially the guy that's adjacent to me. However, I believe just being a man is not good enough, right? So, for example, this is the narrative that I don't like a lot of times from older dudes. They say like, okay, all you got to do is just be a man and be on your square. Like, the reason why we're having agendas like that that's overwhelming the Black community is because they're using their resources to paint the narrative of Black men being feminine. If anything, the only way we can get out of this solution is if you utilize money. So men need to become more powerful by accumulating more wealth. So I just that's my thing. When I hear what you're saying, like, yes, don't make money to get a woman. I hear you on that. There's some nuance to it. It's not just total black and white, because to be considered a protector or a provider, you do need to have some modicum of resources, right? I'm not saying I hear what you're saying in the sense of don't get it just to get woman, right?
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't get it. You don't want to be the guy that the primary reason a woman is dealing with you is because you have money. I'm not saying that can't be the only reason. Like, be a jack of all trades. Be a guy that's well-rounded. You have it all going on, including you have your ducks in a row financially. Have that, but don't just focus on that and don't grow in other areas don't have a foundation of being a man, integrity, honor, dignity, pay attention to those things too. Because money, just getting money doesn't take care of those things. But you got it.
You know what's crazy?
1 second before you answer that. I want you to, because I want to make sure we keep the flow. What do you think about what are your thoughts on that image that you're seeing? I can't pull it up now because I'm having camera issues.
Oh no, I've seen it. I've seen.
What do you
say this?
what do you
You notice, and this is my thing. As black men, we can't. All right, let me preface this by saying this. Compare that to the picture that Russell Wilson and Ciara took, right? And if you notice in the picture, Ciara was the one that was sitting down, and he was kind of like, what's the word? He was kind of like easing into the picture, like he was kind of like bending to get like a Photoshop. Oh, how should I put it? Like Ciara was sitting in the chair as though she was like the woman king, and it looked like he was trying to get some kind of like his body language was that of I'm trying to be noticed, like he's trying to wince into the picture, if that makes any kind of sense. So more or less what I'm saying is when brothers think, oh no, because here's the thing, like people say, oh, Russell Wilson is a lame. All right, let's say that's the truth. A$AP Rocky is considered a swagged out dude. So to me, it doesn't really matter in the sense of how should I put it? It doesn't, at the end of the day, masculinity is what matters. That is what's the issue. So what they're trying to do is every archetype of what's considered in the black community, they're trying to make it comfortable to say, okay, you don't, whether you're the swagged out dude or you're the stepdaddy or you're the functional brother, we all need you guys to be feminine, right? If I'm making any sense in what I'm trying to say. Because it's like A$AP Rocky is supposed to be the total opposite of what Russell Wilson is. But that's more or less the character, the archetype of what is pursued in the black community, though. The dude that's clean cut, I mean, that has the little metrosexual vibes to him, and always talking about fashion, this, that, and the third, but he really still doesn't have any kind of masculinity about himself, right?
Right. So that's
so they're gonna push that. They're gonna push that agenda. Prime example. You see what happened in Boondocks? They had Thugalicious, and he was a rough and tough dude. But then what happened? What happened slowly short after? Even though he started off as the masculine archetype, what happened at the end of the episode? They started wearing dresses.
Well, even there's a show, and I don't watch it. I've just seen the preview. I think it's called P Valley, where you got the dude with the wig and the makeup, but he got a goatee, like he confused or something. It's the same nonsense.
Yeah, and I want everybody to understand. You know what? Let me emphasize this. This has been an excellent discussion, and I'm not stopping it right now. And Angela, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we all in the same place. This is what I wanted to happen on Facebook, because you was there, K-Caz, K-Zach, and you was there. You seen when it started to go blow up.
It go left. Well, LDA, the problem with Facebook and just typing stuff, it has no context to it. Like when we're talking, we can get a feel for how we really think when you're talking.
Right.
There's an energy, there's a vibe there.
And that's the reason why I say, let me just jump and do a live and just talk about it, because what happens is I get to hear not just what you're saying, but I get to hear the nuances in what you're saying and what you really feel about it. And then too, what I wanted to happen and what I'm thankful happened, I got to hear the female side, but also you get to hear the masculine side. And I think that's very important, because what we're missing, especially in this community and at large, is the family unit. If anything I've changed, and anything I've seen this week,
no doubt.
I've seen this week, my uncle passing, how important family was.
My condolences.
I appreciate that. If anything I see, if we did not show up as a family, he could have been still sitting there. So even though we see this image with Rihanna, A$AP Rock, and then we see the other image, which I cannot pull up, and I'm trying to activate my other camera.
Oh, that's the African image with the statue where the man, he has his wife, around her waist, and he has the kid out in front, like the kid is pointing away. I think that's a dope statue. And let me just say this. Because I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the woman cannot be a powerful figure in a relationship. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the woman should be behind the man. I'm not saying that. Okay, what I'm saying is you can have both the man and a woman in a household, and both of them be significant contributors, whether it be financial, whether it be emotionally, mind, whether it be whatever. Because here's the thing about relationships. To me, a healthy relationship is where you have a person that's strong, and where they're weak, the other person is strong. They show up each other's weaknesses, right? And together they're solid, right? To me, that's how it should work. So, you can have a captain and co-captain, because if the man is the captain, is the woman is the co-captain, if something happens to him, she can assume the captain seat and still maintain the same level of consistency that he was maintaining. Okay, that's how I personally look at it.
It's interesting that you said that, and I'm gonna bring this up. And Angela, I want you to go, and then I want you to go. How you pronounce your name, brother?
Oh, Azrael.
Azrael. Okay, now I'm gonna say this. So, and I'm gonna ask everyone on here, and anyone else is welcome to come up on the panel. Now that we didn't talk about this, about the image, what do we think we need to do to move forward? And I'm going to start with Angela first.
To move forward, we have to get control of our own minds. That's the way forward, which means when we see these kinds of images, know exactly what they are. Then you don't fall prey to them. You can just say, you're going to get me today. That's the first step always, is to get control of your own mind. So if that means you are buckled down in your scripture, then you do that. Whatever that way is for you, to be the one in control of your own mind, so that you don't hear things like, oh, a man's got to do this, a man's got to do that. Hey, a man should be able to take care of himself. A woman should also be able to take care of herself, because she wasn't born with him. So she has to grow and learn. He wasn't born with her. He has to grow and learn. If you can't cook and clean for yourself as a bachelor, as a bachelorette, what are you bringing? Like, you have to have, that's why take the time to know your own mind and develop yourself, so that you come as the best when you have to present yourself to somebody else. That's my suggestion.
Let me just say this real quick to the brother that called me an idiot. I want you to come back, and I want you to articulate your position. I don't have no personal problem with you. It's not about name calling. I really want you to explain why you feel that way. And to what the sister said, I hear what you're saying, but the reality of it is we have a bunch of weak individuals. Okay, men and women alike. Okay, we have a bunch of weak individuals. They don't know how to think for themselves, and they are conditioned to follow what media is showing them. So to your point about the whole image, yeah, people can be triggered, but you can have a logical, intellectual discussion about why you personally feel the way that you feel without being mad at women. See, a lot of times when guys see stuff, when it talks about women empowerment, they have this vitriol and this angst towards women. And I don't think it needs to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not, I don't think black women got the vote. Hey, do y'all like this photo? We're going to put it on Vogue. Black women didn't get the vote. They just put it on Vogue. So whether you have black women that liked it or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, whoever controls their image controls their talking points and their narrative. We don't control our own image. So unfortunately, these conversations, they need to be had. And to your point, sister, to your point, I don't think people should allow images to control their own ideologies. I think you can have a discussion about it, but if you're secure within yourself, you won't allow that to anger you or put you in a position where you're mad at somebody you shouldn't be mad at.
Can I say something? I have to disagree with you about the controlling our image thing, right? Because
yeah, all right, fair enough.
So even if you compare it to other races, you're not gonna see, for example, yes, they might have more money than us, perhaps, possibly, even though they might be organized. But if you ever notice, when American-made movies are put out, and then they're put out, when they're disseminated to the other parts of the globe, they make sure that they take out certain parts. Like, there's not going to be certain LGBTQ parts. You're not going to see same-sex kissing. You're not going to see, like, for example, in Transformers, they took out the part in one of the movies in China where an Asian man was dying, like he fell off like a ramp or something like that. They took that off. Now
Okay.
we could juxtapose this back to with black people. When you ask, I don't know if you remember, they were about to have a reality show about one of the Divine Nine's sororities, like the AKAs, and they vehemently went and protested that they took it off. So my point being is that black people have control of the culture. They just don't care. We set the trends.
Okay, fair enough. Brother, real quick, not to cut you off, but to cut you off, I'm glad you said that because that's the point that I missed. You said we do have control, but we don't care. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, because, like I was saying, I hear what you're saying, but I feel as though we people say, oh, not necessarily, not saying you, just saying people say, oh, we don't control our image. It's like, if no one is telling a rapper can't go out and advocate for dudes to drink lean and have their pants sagging, and dudes on the street not do it. Like, if there's one thing, like, like, for prime example, everybody was against Gunna about snitching. Everybody upholds that. If you ask the majority of the black community, people that would listen to rap people in the streets, they uphold the whole doctrine of no snitching. They're not gonna bend. Most people are not gonna bend no break to that. It's about what we want to. So we can control what we want. We can control the fact that we don't want to uphold snitching in the community, but we just don't want to. It's dysfunction at its finest. But
yeah, black people are dysfunctional. So I agree.
And my thing is this. He said, "What is the solution?" I'll be honest with you. You're gonna have to do the World War II tactic of practicing triage. Oh. What I mean is salvage what you can, because I'm at the point, like, even if, like, I've heard guys say, I'm not saying necessarily you old dudes, but like I've heard older dudes say, you just got to be a man and the woman will follow. Like, I genuinely believe women just don't want quality men. I don't know. Maybe. No, I'm just saying, like, they don't. Put it this way: if you want, what's your favorite food, K-Zach? What's your favorite food?
Lasagna, right? So, that's one of my favorite top foods, right? Top 3 for me. When you get a craving for lasagna, or you're gonna find a way to get that lasagna. Because yes, that's what you like. Yes, sir.
You might be on the other part of town, but if you're going to look you're gonna go on your phone and you're gonna look for the best. You're gonna look for the best lasagna in the town that you're in, right?
Yes, sir.
I feel like the same principle applies. You are. Well, I think it was Socrates or Aristotle that says, perfection is like a part of life. So it's like, if you exercise a habit of having perfection, that's who you are. Whatever your habits are, that's who you are as a person. So when I deliberately just think women are choosing men that are weak so that they can control. Women would rather be in control than be protected. The average woman today, they rather be in control than have a man that protects them and guide them.
So let me say this. So you made that indictment, which is a really good indictment. But also, I'm of the mindset that the man makes the choice of who he's going to deal with. And so I can say 100 times to none, if I dealt with a woman that was out of pocket or just did this and scraps of the car and then like that, at some place and some point, I chose that woman. And I think a lot of times, on both sides, men and women do not take accountability of who they choose to deal with. We chose to lay with them. We chose to continue to deal with them because they were good in the bedroom or outside the bedroom, whatever the case may be. And we don't have the fortitude to say, no, this is not what I want to deal with. So I think, this is to make the point. I'm putting the responsibility back on the man, but I'm also putting the responsibility on the man. We choose who we want to deal with. I chose to do this video.
I agree.
Okay, let me say this, and brother Ezreal, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not agreeing. Two things could be true at the same time. You can have women who are a lost cause, just like you can have men who are a lost cause. But ultimately, you can have a woman, right? Let's say Yvette. She meets you. She meets me. she can literally treat us completely different based on how she sees us or how she views us. And how she views us is based on how we present ourselves in that situation. So you can have a woman have, I like to use the word deference. My favorite word is deference, which is humble submission and respect. You can have a woman, Azrael, show you deference right off the bat, humble submission and respect. And maybe because I'm one of these weak, tender dick dudes, and I'm begging for sex and I'm doing all this goofy stuff and I'm all thirsty. She looking at me like this dude is a chump, he's a sucker. So she can immediately just treat me with discontent, you know what I'm saying? Or not discontent, but contempt because of how I'm coming at her, where you was more of a laid back dude, more self-assured. You were just more confident about who you are. You know who you are, so you don't compromise your integrity or your dignity just to get some sex, whereas I'm willing to do that. Now, in real life, I'm not willing to do that. But let's say for the sake of argument, I'm willing to just compromise everything for it, right? Which there are more guys than not are willing to do that. Which you have to ask yourself, Ezra, why? Look, here's the thing. If what you say is true, that women are how they are, how'd they get that way? Because of the men.
Oh, no, I agree. Men got weak. Men. They're really weak. Men bent the knee. I won't. You get no argument from me about that. I know men bent the knee. Men don't know when to walk away from a situation. What they always say: the best negotiators are those that can walk away. So I understand.
Oh, thank you, brother, for saying that. Let me say this real quick. I'm gonna pass it right back to you. When guys complain about all the list of done me wrongs that women do to them, when you say she stabbed me in the back, your fingerprints are on that knife. You got it.
But do you see where that comes from?
But I think the I just think my opinion is this, and not even to go back to Shahar Ali, but it's like more or less.
Hold on 1 second. I want to get Angela on that.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
I want to get her because we need to hear that other side.
All I'm going to say is, yeah, I agree with you there, K-Zag. I think that's how I say it. As within, so without. That is the second law of creation. So whatever you have within you, whatever that thing is, that inner habit that guides you, that you learned all those years ago as being a youngster, that shapes your perception. So whatever is in there, that's the type of person you will encounter at every turn, right? That is why if a man comes and he is insecure about himself and he can't look me in the eye, he doesn't have to say a word. His energy will tell you, his vibration will tell you what kind of man you're dealing with. But again, if your vibration is at such a level, you don't encounter those types of men. You just don't. I have a very high standard for men, and that man is modeled after my grandfather. If you can uproot that, and what kind of man was he? He spoke his mind. He led by example. He had integrity. If he said, "I'm going to be here at this time," he was there at that time.
I love it. I like it. That's a solid man. I love it.
But that's it. My grandma passed away. They were into their 45th year of marriage. And even though she did things that were a little bit questionable, I mean, he was relying on her, right, to be equally yoked. Even though she didn't, in that one instance, he said, "No, we live and we learn. I will take charge in this situation." Never, and I've never heard him speak ill about her, disrespect her at all. So that's why I say I know what to choose because of what has been set before me. So what if I didn't have that example? If I didn't have that example, that'd be a whole world of trouble.
That's the issue, right?
That's what's up.
So and that's why to become a man like that, if you start with the little things. If you tell your homies, "I'm gonna be here at 6:00," be there at 10 to 6. You develop your integrity, and it's you know what it is? It is the discipline of the mind that makes the man or woman what they are. I'm done with that.
Okay. You know, Angela, let me say this. What you're talking about is consistency. What you say is what you do, and what you do is what you say. I think a lot of men, one of the root causes of their problems with women is their inconsistency. I tell guys this: if you have trouble in relationships, it's one or two things. Either you start off the gate being inconsistent with the woman, and as a result, she's inconsistent with you. Or maybe you weren't consistent, and then at some point during the relationship, you became unreliable. You're no longer dependable. Maybe you start lying. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're no longer the consistent guy that woman got with. So that changes the dynamics of how she views you. Either way, it's still on you. And I know Azrael doesn't agree with that. He doesn't. I believe that the man sets the tone for everything. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I wouldn't say. I don't say that. No, I hear you. You can't be, because who wants an unreliable person? You man or woman. So I'm not. I wouldn't. There's nuance to that, right? But here's my thing, and maybe it's from anecdotal experience. I just believe from how I get down, and I'm not necessarily a tyrant, but I would consider myself a dominant person in the sense that, like, people might disagree with this, but it's like, okay, I'm paying for majority of things, so I believe I should be able to say what goes, right? And in my previous relationships, I've always had situations where I would be challenged, and I don't want to be questioned, but I don't like to, or people, the woman I was adding suggestions, but I don't like to be challenged, especially if it's over small things, right? So I've had situations where I've gone on vacation and I said, I'll pay for everything. I just need you to pay for the Uber to the hotel, to the airport. And it was a whole situation. Right. And I almost dropped it. And until, like, he was like, okay, she relinquished, even though I agreed on my end. That was a red flag from the get-go, in a sense.
Yep. But
I just noticed that I'm encountering women, even though I do my part in terms of upholding, I'm consistent. A woman could tell you, like, they can't even name 5 things if you ask any of my last couple of exes, they can never tell you maybe the last 5 things they ever paid for. Maybe like pizza, that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So no, what I'm saying is,
go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that I'm using these women to, like, using my money as a kind of attraction thing. I'm not. What I'm just saying, overall, like, I handle my business as a man. So, like, if I tell you, for example, if you tell a woman, come get dressed, do this, that, and the third, I have everything covered. I don't like to be questioned. I don't like to, like to be challenged.
Yeah. My brother, I 100% agree with you on everything you just said. See, I'm Mr. Hashtag her debit card works too. Yeah, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like if a woman doesn't at least, like, if you guys are seeing each other and she's genuinely interested in you after maybe the first 2-3 dates, if she don't at least offer to pay for something, she ain't really feeling you like that. That's how I look at it personally. Now,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Now,
when you said, go ahead.
Let me say this. Now, I used to say to them, I said, maybe this is not working out. Maybe the connection is not there or whatnot. And then they'd be like, no. I'm just so used to doing things on my own, or I'm just used to doing it this way, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, this is not going to work out. And they're like, well, I can try. And it's like, now people might say, oh, that's something off of you, right? I don't believe it's necessarily off of me. I believe it's that woman that has to get her issues in order. Like I told my last ex, you need therapy, and then I said I will not date you, and you need therapy. She went to therapy, but that's a done deal.
Now,
she hit me up and told me, hey, I went to therapy. But
let me say this.
Go ahead. I got a lot to say now, but go ahead.
Yeah, just the thinking class. So I go to esoteric sometimes. So I will say that everyone we meet in some level is us pressed out. So for her to show up in your life, you had to invite her in your life. So I would go that route. But on the other side, with the pain, and you wanted her to do certain things, Kay Zakin said something that was really important. Many times guys inadvertently, without even knowing it, I guess that's my word for today, inadvertently, lead women with the wallet, and they never get them to invest besides their time being together. So in some way, she needs to invest, not in the bedroom. She needs to invest in some way that says, I am a part of what you're doing too. Now, if you're just investing in, and I'm not saying you particularly, this is a general statement.
No, I
To
hear
every,
you. No. Yeah, I'm taking this to heart. I'm listening.
yeah, it's not to you, it's not to you. So a lot of times, a lot of guys do not, like Kay Zagan says, hey, your debit card works too. Hey, won't you do something too? I want to see that your participation is not just to be to be a person that's sitting on the bench, but I want to see that you're going to play the game with me too. And what we have done in some cultures and sometimes in the Western world, we allow women to be bench sitters, and not women who participate in the act of the relationship. Even though many of them say they're boss chicks, independent chicks, boss babes, they're not boss when it comes to certain things, when it comes to investing inside a relationship, not just emotionally, not just sexually, but also monetarily.
Yo, let me tell you something. In my life, I have never gotten into a relationship with a woman that had an issue paying for some stuff. Now, I'm not saying, look, let me tell y'all something. I don't have no problem with a man who is a traditional man. He is a provider in a sense where even if the woman offers, he's like, no, I got it, baby girl. Put your debit card, put your money away. I got it. But sometimes as a man, you at least want to see that's her offer something right now. Here's what I would say to you, Azrael. You know, if you think about the definition of compatibility, compatibility literally means existing in harmony with no conflict. You got conflict. A woman who's challenging you, what she's challenging is your leadership. She is saying, I don't want to follow you. I want to do it my way. Okay, the minute you get that, she's no good. You can't do nothing with her because all you're going to get is drama for the whole time.
I hear you. And that's my thing. Like I said, I can genuinely say I don't, even when I was chilling with my parents, I wasn't using money to win a woman over. It went beyond money in a sense of like, I'm saying, okay, I did this, I made arrangements for that, this, that, and the third. I need you to do so and so and so and so and so and so. And it was always why this or why that, right? So I'm getting to the point where it's like if I don't, I'm okay with being by myself. If I don't get I don't want to say control, maybe that's a little, that's considered a sexist term to be controlling and whatnot. But if I don't get the control that I want, I'm not gonna entertain it.
Let me say this.
I like the word influence.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna say that. I'm glad you said influence, because the first person that we need to control is ourselves. She's always going to reflect back to you who you are. Angela, I know you're going to say something about that. Please tap in right there. I know you.
Look,
right there, right to that point.
If you go into the situation with the attitude of my way, this is how I want it to be, you follow me. If you go with that attitude of the pounding of the chest, now this is not an admonition. This is showing you that what you're going to get back, just like Lord said, well, you're going to get back somebody who has the same attitude as you. Well, I must be in control as well. So you're going to butt heads. Instead, what you're looking for is a companion, someone who can think for themselves. And this is why she always questioned. Because she wants to be in control, just like that's what you want. I'm not saying that you go in and you're a doormat. That's not what it is. You don't ever be a doormat. But it does not mean that one has to have an energy that is a bully either. So however, whatever your tone is that you set, and you say, I'm just looking for, that's why I tell people, you write your grocery list of what you're looking for in a partner. And that's based on you. What are you looking for? Because that's based on who you are. So if you say, well, you need to be in control, then you have to understand this person's going to also need to be in control because that's what you are. But if you're willing to be in a partnership where we listen to each other and we come up with the best situation, the best scenario for the whole, the betterment of the whole, then that is what you will get.
And let me ask you something. And this is no, I agree. I hear you out, and you have some valid points. But this is why to me, not necessarily you, but the people I know. This is a curse word to say, but the modern woman, like they're full of contradictions. They'll say they want a man that takes the lead, a man that's initiative, a man that doesn't ask me what I want to do or where do I want to go. Like, I'm on that on steroids. And I'm not saying that it's my way or the highway. But what I'm saying is they'll say one thing and then do another. And I guess that's a part of woman nature. But they'll say, oh, why these men want 50-50, right? I even saw it in the comment section today on Instagram. Like, someone was saying, like, oh, well, like a couple days ago, people saying these men want 50-50. So why are they expecting a woman to want to be led by them? And then on literally the next day, it was Little Duval put up another post, and the women were like, oh, men are not, why it has to be a leadership? Why can't it be a partnership? It's like Jesus Christ. You can't lead a partner.
I'm not with that partnership. I'm the leader in the relationship. Either you want to fuck. Now, here's the thing with leadership, right? That's why I use the word deference, humble submission and respect. If you feel I'm a worthy leader, okay, I'm gonna have both our interests in mind. But I don't deal with women on their terms. I deal with women on my terms. So if my terms aren't fitting to you, then you can step. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem finding another woman who's with it. Who's with it. Damn all that.
Angela, what you got to say about that?
Leadership, right?
Huh?
We lead by example, not by force.
It's not by force. Okay, look.
But what was your last phrase?
This is the thing, Angela. You said we lead by example, not by force. That's all well, good and done and said until the fact that there's something creeping at night around the house. And are you going to pick up the gun? You're going to lead by force, or you going to lead by example? Which one are you going to lead by? Well, or you want your man to lead by force?
I'll say this to you, right? I've lived alone, right? I've had to protect myself because I'm the only one here. So then there's two, we better have a game plan. Because if somebody does not have his back, you can bet the person downstairs has that person's back. There's two of them. There's no way. I might be smaller than you. I might be weaker than you because I'm a woman. But if I have your back, I can see shit that you're not going to see. So I'm not going to send you down there so something happens to you and then they come for me. No, that's why you have to have a game plan. You talk about these things. I can't take the brunt force, neither should he. But if I have your back, if I say, look, there's something going on, I'm going to call 911 right now, and let's get down there and see what the hell's going on. Because it's the two of us, not just one of us is in that house. Two people are in there. So I've never liked that situation of having to hear, oh, well, just a man should go downstairs. That's garbage. Because then what if something happens to him? And whatever little I can do, I'm not going to get in the way, because then that trips him up. That's why you have to have a game plan. They teach you this in first aid. Have a game plan.
Okay, you can have a game plan and somebody kicks in your door and starts shooting. And whatever you thought you was going to do, you're too scared to do it. And I'm not saying you personally. I've just seen where the woman was in a bedroom with the door locked and the dude is in the living room fighting two dudes taking bullets left and right. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't want the dudes to get to the bedroom with his wife in there. And eventually they get to the bedroom, but they so tired from fighting him, they just leave her alone and leave. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
she comes up in clothes. Like I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you got it.
She comes up in clothes like Mariana Rivera with the baseball bat to the head. She finishes off the game. But now go ahead. I'm sorry.
But all I'm saying though is it's a team effort. That's how I see life, because that's how I was raised. Not everything that I was raised with is good, but I've had to learn to see those to change them. So when you're choosing your woman, you've got to understand, just like how I choose a man, you have to understand what you are is what you recreate. It just is. That's law. Like it's not an opinion. It's just what it is.
Fair enough. What you are is what you attract. Okay, fair, and I don't disagree with you, sister. I don't disagree with you at all. And it's not necessarily about, oh, I got to run this woman. I got to put my boot on her neck and control her. No, it goes back to what I said earlier about compatibility, existing in harmony with no conflict. So if I'm saying, because me personally, right, because you got to understand how I think. Never in my life have I looked to be in a relationship. I never cared about having a girlfriend. Okay. But I've been married. I had a girlfriend, all of that. Right. So my thing, but I never looked for that. Okay. When I found that woman that I felt was worthy of those titles or that elevation, I gave it to him, but I never looked for that. Right. So I was always cool by myself doing my own thing. And I just deal with women that can handle me, because when you tell a woman, hey, I only deal with women on my terms, a lot of times they look at that as, oh, he wants to control everything. That's not necessarily true, because if we're compatible, I don't have to control you if we're compatible, right? We vibe. You get me, I get you. There's nothing for me to control. And you know, like I know, Angela, you can't control no woman. A woman gonna do what she want to do with her body, with her time, with her money, with whatever she want to do, with her love, with her feelings. She gonna do what no man can control a woman. Now, she can give the appearance and she can, manipulate him to believe he's in control, but he's really not. You know what I'm saying? So no man can control a woman, in my opinion.
I have a question to ask the two older dudes on the panel. I want your thoughts on this, because this has been on my mind for a while. In today's society, women will say, they'll follow if it's the right man. They'll follow if it's the right man. But then if you look in their life and in general, they're still sleeping with a man that's incapable of leadership.
Okay.
So can you explain to me the contradiction in that?
Yeah, I explain it to you. Sexual attraction. You got to understand something about when you talk about sexual. See, a lot of guys, they try to make logic of women's decisions. You got to understand, and I don't want women to take offense to this. Women typically, it doesn't mean they're not pragmatic, they're not practical or logical, but typically they are governed by their feelings and their emotions. So if you're dealing with a woman who is sexually attracted to a man, her sexual attraction to him is not based on logic. It's based on a feeling. So she will have sex with this man. She will deal with this man, although on paper, this man is not the man that would make a good husband, a good boyfriend, a good spouse, a good father, but her coochie tingling. And she want to give it to dude, right? So you'll have some women that will make decisions based on that. Men also are not always practical. Men will look at a chick, oh, she got a big booty, she's sexy, she bad. And they'll make these irrational decisions based on superficial, shallow shit, and they'll get themselves in a cross. So you'll have a woman that will have sex with a dude, and it's just simply based on, I find him physically appealing and sexually attractive. I want to give him some. And that's it. Nothing more to it.
All right.
Fair enough. I think he's answered the question. I think that's a very good question. I think men need to reconcile within themselves. They need to reconcile themselves how women really are. As much as we talk about female nature, especially on these YouTube channels, and we talk about masculine nature, men need to really reconcile how women really are at their core and not be mad about it. Don't be mad.
I want Angela's take on sexual attraction, Angela. I want your honest opinion. Take that mask off. Yeah. Take that mask off for a second and give us some insight to your sexuality and tell us what you think about
sexuality.
sexual
My word.
How
bold of you.
Yeah, do that.
As a red-blooded woman.
I
am. Why can I sit here and say that I'm not? I am human, aren't I? And that's how we're built. Yes. However, I do have a little bit of discipline. Like I said, you can't just come to me and say and sweet talk me, because I'm not weak-minded. I'm not a little girl who you can talk you into. And I've dealt with some people. Not a lot.
Well, when you talk about sweet talk, I'm talking about X-rated language. I'm not talking about no sweet talk. But go ahead.
Listen, when you grew up in the Caribbean, right? You have grown-ass men speaking to young girls in a very derogatory way. I don't know how it is in the U.S. because I'm not American. But
when you say derogatory, can you explain that without getting his channel shut down? Let
me say it to you this way. If you can walk and you can, how do they say it? It's over 12
anytime is good for love.
Oh no
It
no
gets
no no! We don't
overkill.
we don't play them type of games. We don't do that over here. No
But this is what I'm saying to you. I've seen and heard things and been told things as a young person, and that's why when my grandfather, when he spoke to me, he always said to me, "You're going to become a woman." He goes, "Earn your own money. Never take money from a man unless it's your father or the man you're married to." That's the thing he told. Never take money from a man you are not married to or your father. And my question
fair
was,
enough.
but why,
Fair
Granddaddy?
enough.
And he would say to me, because you're going to have to exchange sex for money. He did not cloud anything for me. So when I go out and I buy whatever I want, I'm not a high fashion kind of girl. That's not my personality. I can go out, and if I say I'm going to buy salmon today because it's $18 a pound, that's my choice. I can buy it. But I don't need you to come and tell me, well, girl, I can buy you this salmon you want, but you got to cook it for me and let me come over for dinner and have some dessert. No. You know why? It's the same way I raise. It's the same way you raise. You cannot. You tell your children, I'm going to give you whatever it is you think you need, so that nobody can come along and say, well, you don't get this. So, if you want it, you can do what I tell you. No, you give them the confidence to acquire what they need for themselves so that they do not put themselves in a position to be taken advantage of. And unfortunately, that is the way, because I learned that as a very young girl. I know you didn't want to call me young lady. It was not an insult. 45 is not old. You understand?
Oh no, I can deal with 45, Angela. That's not.
But you see, it's. Okay. I'm not going to sit here in front and say I don't like what intimacy, because, you can't be crass. But you have to have a level of discernment. You have to have discipline. So if I cannot control my body and my thoughts, I can't control anybody. So that's where it starts with me. He could be fine. But what? Okay. He's fine and what?
Okay, right? Angela. Yes. You real slick. You tap dance. You tap dance all around the question. So Angela, I'm gonna ask you in another way. You don't have to answer it, baby girl, but I'm gonna ask you a question. So no, and I'm gonna preface it by saying this. I saw a video one time, and I actually did a video talking about it. There was a young British lady, and she was talking about the power of confidence in a man. Okay, and one of the things that she was saying is when guys approach a woman, now you can tell me if you believe this to be true based on your own personal experiences. She says when men approach a woman, women feel like they have the upper hand simply because they know, I know what he wants. I know he wants something, and I got the power to either give it to him or not give it to him. And she said, based on his level of confidence and based on how his vibe, I'm either going to lead him or allow him to lead. What's your take on that?
Let me take
that heavy sign. No, don't do that. You playing with me, Angela. Don't do that. I'm playing with that heavy sign, girl. All right, go ahead.
Let me go from experience. A couple years ago, I met a lovely man, tall, 6 foot, whatever he was, big green eyes. Because we live in Canada, you see more white men and other men than you see black men. But I digress. Bald, with a beard, sometimes not. The way he would walk. Let me tell you something. This man was just beautiful.
I know. He had the libido quaking. I already know, but go ahead.
Right. But his level of confidence was incredible also because he knew he was a fine piece of work. He knew it.
No.
And right, I knew he knew it. But at the same time, I'm going to acknowledge his handsomeness. Because every time he would walk by me, he'd say, hey, beautiful. And I'm like, oh, hello, handsome. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I will not cross a line just because he is good looking and he has confidence. I will acknowledge it in him. Because you have to be cautious. You know why? It is not my place to lead a man. I am not going to give you an impression that I want more from you. Talking about, that's what we're talking about. Right? I'm not going to do that.
Something else.
Right? I'm not going to give that impression, even though I'm just going to keep it moving. I will acknowledge that. But I'm not going to go for tea with you. I'm not going to go for dinner with you because that's not what I'm interested in. Now, if I was interested, that would be different because we'd have to have a conversation.
And you can know a lot. And we spoke because he'd stop by my desk all the time and say hello to me and talk to me for 5-10 minutes. I knew what I was dealing with. And I'm like, that's a red flag. I don't like that.
You was dealing with one of them player types, one of them hit it and quit it types.
I don't think he quote unquote meant to be a player, but because he is as handsome as he is, that is the role he took. Because he, you take what you get sometimes. If people treat you like a player, you become the player. And so that's what he did. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, you look good on the outside, but you see those things? My grandfather wouldn't do that. And so I can't subscribe. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you he was not a beautiful man. Good God Almighty!
Look, she having flashbacks. Look, hey.
Superman
get the towel. Get the towel, Angela. Get the towel.
Nah, we don't gotta be that way. But what I'm saying to you is, there's sometimes you cannot be led by your flesh. If you're not disciplined, you will make dumbass decisions.
Bam.
Now, I don't deny that, but you can still make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? That leads to some, fun, and then the fun is over. So Angela, I hate to put you on the spot, but you, since you tap dancing like Gregory Hines, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on the spot. Do you indulge in the casual encounter every now and again when you catch that feeling?
No.
That's a damn shame.
I've been in a long-term relationship now. This is going on 7 years.
7 years. Congratulations. So I hope it continues for another 7 years at least.
I don't indulge like that, because if you can look back at your life and say and I will tell you right now, when I look back at it, I look back and I say, God, girl, you made a shit decision. You could have done so much better than that.
So you used to do that?
Not used to, because I was in a relationship with him. But you see, this is why I tell you, how you see yourself dictates the decisions that you make. So to prevent myself from making another quote unquote bad mistake, I changed.
So
that I do not continue to make another bad mistake. Well, a mistake the first time is not a mistake. You learn. But if you continue to do it, then you have a habit.
Hey, Angela, this is confession hour. I'm preach Carrie. Tell me the decision you made that you regret. Let's talk about it.
Oh my God! I'm reading Capital Life here in the comments. Capital Life is awesome. Listen, I grew up in Barbados. We do tea, okay? We do tea. We do tea.
I want to hear that decision you made in detail, with all the details.
There we go. Thank you, Red. Red said it right there. Everyone has had a one-nighter.
No, this decision has way bigger repercussions than that.
Oh, so it was a weekender.
No. No, I dated him for quite some time, and we had a child.
Yeah, after the fact.
Right.
Look, let me. Hey, look, it's okay. It's okay. Look, we're human beings. Look, here's the one thing about human beings, right? Sexual attraction is so potent, and lust is so potent that it will cause you to make irrational decisions. Like, I don't know, having sex without a condom that makes you procreate, makes you drop out of the baby by the wrong motherfucker. I mean, that do happen. My bad, LD. I cursed. My bad, dog. My bad.
Yes,
my bad.
But that's the thing. You have to learn from, and that's why I don't judge me. I don't judge other people, because the reason why you don't judge, you have to, when you observe to understand, so that you can grow from it. Because if the minute you say, "Oh man, I made a dumb decision. I never make good decisions," you see that? That'll keep you from ever being able to see, so that you can actually make better decisions going forward. Don't beat yourself up. You already know. Let's move past that. So then you look at yourself and you observe and you say, okay, what did I do there? Okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this now. I want to behave like this because I know better. And you start to do it on a daily basis. And from doing that, you develop discipline and you develop integrity. But if you sit and you judge yourself and you beat yourself up about how not good enough you are, well, then you will continue to make decisions based upon that mentality and that mindset. So it's always best to observe without judgment. because judgment blinds the eye. I'm not talking about discernment. Those are two different things. Oh my God, you could have done better. Oh, you dance, you no.
No, I mean, well, number one, Angela, why beat it up when he can? I'm just being facetious.
I got
I'm saying,
Lord,
y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all
Lord,
got it.
I try to y'all get my channel up.
you got me good with that.
I was about to come to you, brother. I was about to come to you. He dropped off. LD after dark. I try to. I can't put my music on to play.
That was good. That was good.
Get it crack-a-lacking. All right, here for your station.
Let me take my nasty stuff out of here and be a little more sensible and sensical with it. But no, to your point, look, and this why I always say that sexual attraction is the most natural way and the most potent way to attract people, but it's also the quickest way to get yourself in something regrettable as well if you don't have some discipline, some sense of discernment.
I mean, let me say this right before everyone on here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button in here. This get the algorithm to do what it needs to do. If you are enjoying this, I need you to put a 5 in the chat room. Put a number 5 in the chat room because this has been a great conversation. I'm actually enjoying it. I normally don't come on Saturdays. You know this, K-Zach, and I'll be living my life on Saturday.
I know you be chilling, bro. With the fly hats, with your boys, with the kinfolk, just doing your thing. I love it.
Put the 5 in the chat room. You really enjoying this conversation. It started off with Rihanna ASAP, and also, I think this picture is from Nigeria. Put in number 5, and you're enjoying this Saturday chop up. You guys got me out my hookup right now, but I had to come up live and start talking about it because this was really good discussion, and I'm glad we did not all agree. Good to see you, Mark Guy, man. Good to see you, man. I have not seen you since New York, man. Good to see you. He's from the islands too. Good to see my island, my West Indies people in here. I love it. If you enjoy this conversation, I normally don't come, and I just came from a funeral yesterday, so it's just like I needed to pull out of that funk so I can get into this. So you enjoying this? It was a great conversation, and we won't be. K-Zach and trying to get us to go to LD after dark.
Hey, that's the other side of me that come out sometimes. So I get to talking too much.
Angela, right there. When she tap dancing all around it, she didn't answer the
question. She lucky she don't live in San Antonio. I might have to come visit her.
Don't make me have to pray for you.
Pray that I'm consistent with the stamina. Pray.
I can't with you. I can't.
I love it. You know why? Because I'm gonna tell you, I love this exchange because you know why? Many times on many panels, we've seen people, black men and black women at odds, don't know how to disagree agreeable, and they don't know how to get back to this place we're at right now, where there's that line current.
Well, right there you go. And shout out to the sister. And I think it comes from we all made valid points. And also, I don't think that either one of us have vitriol towards the opposite sex. The problem with YouTube and also other social media platforms is people just have this fear-mongering and this hatred and this vitriol towards the opposite sex. And all it's doing is messing up the dating scene. And you have a bunch of people who ain't worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? Who are on a dating scene. And quite frankly, Angela, I feel sorry for a lot of women because there's a lot of dudes out there who ain't worth a damn. Now, that's just my personal opinion.
But you see, we can help each other though. Because when you encounter a situation like that, have you ever thought about somebody and they call you? You know what I'm saying? Well, we can send that same thing. You don't have to speak to people, but if you see somebody acting a fool, you know what you say about that? You just simply say, you know what? I would love for you to see the truth and encounter real transformation in your life. And just leave it. Because what that does, it helps them, but it also helps you. Because remember, correspondence, as within, so without. So if you have vitriol within, cute, well, then it stands to reason you'll have the vitriol on the outside. So we are all supposed to be able to have these kinds of conversations. And as you've noticed, the freedom to speak is being eroded. And the reason why that is being eroded is because then it stops us from coming together, because we begin to see the similarities. So if you take away the ability to speak to one another with censorship, right? Then I can't speak to you and you can't speak to me. You can't see that I genuinely care for you and vice versa. And that's what allows the division to continue. So sometimes when I say don't judge, when you see somebody out in public acting a fool, you just say that silent prayer. You know what? I wish for you to find true happiness within. Wish that for them, because it will do something for them. It might seem like, oh, that's not going to help, but it does help. As opposed to this, blah, 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 blankety blank. That will also do something. So this is how we love each other, right?
I think
Well,
I think what happened is, I'm glad you brought that up. I think what happened is we polarize each other's different ideologies and never come to the point of saying, let us come together. Let us sup together. And I think that is a big problem, because I can say I can go on a tyrant on women and black women, and equally so I can call her up now, bring a black woman on here, and she would go tyrant on black men. But we never come down and say, how can we sup together? This is what I wanted to do with this whole show today. How do we sup together? How do we come together? How do we agree to disagree on that image? You had one perspective, and I think the first guest that came on, the Joker, she was in Croatia. She brought something up that was very important. You know what she said? You got to understand that the image is from Vogue. It's a woman's magazine. What do you expect?
Yeah. And not only that, but if you looked at it, where it had the Vogue, it said British, so it's not even American. So you have people overseas that are trying to push this ideology and this imagery, and the whole world is seeing it, although it's from across the pond. You know what I'm saying? So, here's the thing. This is what I truly, truly, truly believe. Like in real life, away from YouTube, away from social media, you have sensible people that all want the same thing. We all want quality encounters with quality people. Period. Okay, whatever that means to you, which is subjective. You want quality encounters or quality interactions with quality people. I think the problem with YouTube and social media as a whole, it's a lot of riffraff, a lot of low-hanging fruit that have too many ears. They have too many subscribers, they have too many people that follow them, and they get the ear of everybody. So the people that actually have something to say that means something, we're drowned out by the BS, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are, and that's what I wanted to make sure we did this today. That we offer a different perspective and multiple perspectives on what that took place, as far as with that image, and those who in my Facebook chat, Facebook commented on this picture. I gave y'all the link. We done been on for about 2 hours and 22 minutes. So put 222 in the chat room. We've been on for 2 hours and 22 minutes, and none of y'all jumped up. None of y'all jumped up. They had had all this stuff to text and type, and you this and this and that. I ain't seen you come up here one time. So put 222 in the chat room. This is the reason why we're doing it. You'll see it. You'll understand it in a minute. I want to thank Angela for coming up. I found you. We connected on Fanbase, right?
Yes.
Yep. And we were in a almost like a clubhouse setting. It was wild. Wild. And I want to thank you so much for coming up and offering your perspective. And Kay Zagan was about to trying to pull out the LDA of the dark conversation out of you. I want to thank you for coming up. Kay Zagan, you there? I think he stepped away for a second. But I want to thank both of you guys for coming up, giving your input, agreements and disagreements on that image. And I want everyone to understand that this is how you have a conversation. This is how you have a conversation. This is how you do it. we may not all agree, we may not see it the same way, but at the same time, we need to come to the table and realize what's really important. Something that Angela said about her grandfather, that he knew the importance of family. And I think we have definitely missed the mark on that. Any last remarks?
Lawrence, I wanted to say this really quick to you.
Yes.
Thank you for having the platform today. And even though you see, you had an intention when you opened up this stream, you know that? Mm-hmm. And you got exactly what your intention was. You wanted to show that we could have conversations, we could listen to each other, we could agree, we could disagree, but never once was anybody disrespectful. That's what you wanted. And you called it here today. And so kudos to you for that. And thanks for allowing me to share and be a part of it.
Yes. K-Zach, and any last words you want to say?
No, I just wanted to say that I think we had a respectful discussion. You know, we had a young lady on the joint, and we also had some young women in the chat, and it was respectful. And we didn't necessarily agree on everything, but it was respectful, and everyone listened to each other's points, and we were grown-ups about it. And you know, I think I spoke to Angela's sexuality a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that could be another conversation for a later day. You know, Angela. But you know, good luck to you in your relationship, though. I hope it works out for you.
Lord Jesus, save me.
He has definitely planted the seed, boy. But he is the farmer today. Watch him. He's been planting that seed.
What you, young man?
Look, you look sort of different after 7 years. At that.
No, I'm not young, but my back is. You know. You know, I'm just saying.
I wish I could get on camera. Okay, my camera's not
I totally respect you. I think you're cool. You know, and
I appreciate that.
It's just like I said, I don't feel any disrespect from either of you. Do you know that? That's why I can be in my space. I don't feel any disrespect at all. And so I just want that to be something that other ladies get to be a part of. Because this is how I wouldn't say I'm submissive by any means, but I'm not disrespectful. I call it as I see it. You know, I just do. I always have. But kudos, man. This was a beautiful space. Thank you.
All right. I got to go. I got a little minor emergency. Right. Positively, Angela, you were positive today. I appreciate you. LDA, Ezreal, the Brother that was on, the other young lady that was from Europe, and everybody in the chat. I see you, Renee, Louisiana Red. I see all y'all. Much love. I'm going to holler at y'all. I got to go.
Peace out.
I want to thank my guests for being up here. You guys did a great job. I thank you so much. This was a great show, great conversation, which I definitely wanted to happen and take place. I want you to make sure you like and share. And if you have any feelings, any thought about what was said, too bad. You had the opportunity to come up like everyone else, and everyone did. And Ezreal, I appreciate you and what you said. And Jokers, I think that was her in Europe. Thank you for coming up. Thank you, everyone. This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class, and we are out. I can't play my music. Let's end with this. Everybody know what this is. Trying to get trouble. All these people. I don't understand it. Boy. Saturday show. Oh, sure. Oh. Saturday show up here. I'm on the couch chilling. A lot has been this conversation on Facebook. Out of here. Peace.